Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something pretty common when you get into manifestation. People often call them tests from the universe.
Right.
But, relax. It's not about passing or failing some big cosmic exam.
Not at all. Think of them more like opportunities, really.
Opportunities. How so?
Well, they're sort of personalized chances to help you really align with what you're trying to manifest, what you're working towards.
Okay, I like that framing. More like alignment checks.
Exactly. And what the sources we looked at show is that these moments, they act almost like a gauge.
A gauge.
Yeah, showing us where our self-belief really is
Mm.
and how much we genuinely trust the process.
Right. So the key is figuring out what these tests actually look like in everyday life.
Yes, that, and maybe more importantly, how we can navigate them, how to move forward with, more confidence and clarity.
And that's really where you listening come in. We know you want to get this stuff deeply and quickly without feeling totally overwhelmed. So we've waded through the material, pulled out the core ideas, those real aha moments, and importantly, some useful ways to handle these universal nudges, let's call them.
Yeah, think of this as your fast track, a shortcut to understanding a really crucial part of the whole manifesting journey. You might find some surprising ideas in here.
Okay, so let's unpack it. What are these tests from the universe, really?
Well, our sources describe them showing up in all sorts of ways.
Right?
Sometimes it's a clear obstacle, something unexpected blocking your path. Other times it might be a familiar person showing up again.
Okay.
Or just, a general challenge that throws a wrench in your plans.
It feels a bit like the universe is sort of tapping you on the shoulder, maybe,
Mm.
checking if you really believe you deserve what you're asking for.
Precisely. That's a recurring theme in the material. And often, these tests tempt you to, well, settle.
Settle for less than what you truly want.
Exactly. The core purpose, as the sources really emphasize, is to shine a light on your underlying sense of self-worth.
And how deep your faith goes.
Right. Your faith that things will actually unfold. And by navigating these situations successfully, you're essentially bringing your actions, your energy, into harmony with, a higher level of self-worth.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Examples always help.
Definitely.
One that comes up again and again in the sources is the reappearing X.
Oh, yeah. The classic.
I think a lot of people can relate to that one. You're doing well, focusing on your future, feeling good, and then bam, a text message. Maybe you bump into them somewhere.
And suddenly the past is right there in your face.
Yeah, and the pull can be strong, can it? That familiarity, that comfort zone.
It is. It's really easy to slip back into that old dynamic, even if consciously you know it wasn't right for you.
So what do the sources say about engaging with that?
They're pretty clear, actually. Engaging with the past like that, it can signal, maybe subconsciously, a lack of real confidence that something better is actually coming.
Like you're hedging your bets.
Kind of. It subtly communicates, well, maybe this is as good as it gets for me. And there's this interesting psychological bit, too. Our brains often gravitate towards the familiar, especially when we're reaching for something new and maybe feeling a bit vulnerable.
So it's like keeping a safety net, but that net is actually holding you back.
That's a great way to put it. The material really stresses needing a clean break.
Not just physically moving on.
No, energetically, too. You have to fully close that door, shut that chapter, to create genuine, clear space for the new thing to arrive.
And even just casual texting back and forth, that can block things.
Apparently, yes. Even those seemingly harmless interactions can act as an energetic anchor, because sometimes even that casual chat might stem from a little bit of doubt deep down or needing that validation from someone familiar,
Okay, so energetically, you're still partly tied to that old reality.
which makes it harder to attract something different. Yeah.
Okay, what's another big example?
Another really insightful one is what the sources call the almost right partner.
The almost right partner.
Okay. This is where someone comes along. Seems promising at first, right?
Yeah.
There's some chemistry. They tick a few boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start noticing things, red flags. Maybe they're hot and cold. Maybe they aren't fully respectful. Something just feels off.
Right, not quite hitting the mark.
Exactly. And this becomes a huge test of your self-esteem. Do you take this person because, well, they're here and you worry you won't find better?
That fear of scarcity again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The sources are really firm here. Settling like this sends a powerful message, a fear of doubt. It basically says, I don't really believe I deserve someone who truly values me.
And connecting that back to manifesting. Settling suggests you believe in lack, not abundance.
Precisely. But the empowering part The flip side is choosing to walk away.
Even when there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, even with that initial spark. Walking away communicates to the universe, and maybe more importantly to yourself, that you know you're worthy of that deeper, more respectful connection you truly want.
And that act of self-respect clears the path.
It really seems to, yes. It opens the door for what you actually desire.
And this whole idea of not settling, it's not just about romance, is it?
Oh, not at all. The sources make that very clear. Compromising your standards or worth in any area of your life can impact your overall ability to manifest.
Like friendships.
Exactly. Think about friendships that maybe drain you or where you don't feel fully seen or respected. People often stay in those out of what? Fear of being lonely or maybe guilt.
It's that same pattern, isn't it? That underlying lack of self-worth playing out.
It is. If you're tolerating negativity in friendships, what are you signaling about how you value yourself?
Good point. The material really pushes for an honest inventory, doesn't it?
Yeah, looking at where you might be compromising yourself, maybe diminishing your own worth across different areas.
Like work. Staying in a job that makes you miserable because you fear change.
Or financially, maybe not asking for what you're worth. It all connects.
Okay, but what happens if, well, what if you mess up? What if you fail one of these tests? You know, you do go back to the ex for a bit, or you stay with the almost right person longer than you should have. Is everything ruined?
That's a really common fear, and thankfully, the answer from the sources is a resounding no.
Oh, good.
There's no, cosmic demerit system. The universe isn't sitting there waiting to punish you.
Okay, that's reassuring.
It's all about learning and growth.
Hmm.
The key thing, the sources say, is the energetic shift.
The shift?
Yeah, the shift that happens when you finally do recognize the test for what it is and you make that conscious choice to overcome it, even if it's after you stumbled a bit. That's the breakthrough moment.
So it's the eventual realignment that matters most.
Exactly. The intention and the final choice hold the power. The universe keeps giving you chances to step up into that worthiness.
Okay, now here's something I found really interesting in the sources. Sometimes a test can actually look a lot like the thing you've been asking for.
Yes, this is a tricky one.
Like it seems almost perfect, but maybe there's just this little nagging feeling.
Mhm.
Something's not quite 100%.
Right. One source used the example of someone manifesting their dream home. They find one that ticks, say, 8 out of 10 boxes. It's pretty good.
And the pressure's on, right? What if nothing better comes along?
Exactly. That fear kicks in. It's so tempting to just grab it.
And there's another story, too, wasn't there? About a makeup artist.
Oh, yeah, that was compelling. He was aiming high, wanted to be signed by a really top-tier agency.
His dream agency.
Yeah. And then he gets an offer from a smaller agency. Still good, definitely a step up, but not the dream.
So the dilemma is, take the decent offer now, or hold out for the absolute best. It really highlights that line between being grateful for what comes and, well, settling.
It does. And that fear of scarcity really whispers in your ear, doesn't it? What if this is it? What if you miss your chance?
Yeah. But the material really emphasizes that knowing what you truly, truly want and having the conviction to wait for that specific thing. It isn't being ungrateful or greedy.
No, it's actually framed as a powerful declaration, a sign of unwavering self-belief and trust.
So what happened with the makeup artist?
Well, he made the tough call. He turned down the smaller agency's offer.
Wow, that takes guts.
It does. And guess what? About 5 months later, he got signed by his dream agency.
No way. See, that really drives the point home.
It really does. Sometimes saying no to the good is exactly what creates the space for the exceptional.
Which flows perfectly into the whole power of mindset thing.
Absolutely key.
Our sources really contrast that scarcity mindset, that underlying fear of not enough, with an abundance mindset.
Which is that deep down belief that there really is more than enough to go around. For everyone.
And it's pretty obvious which mindset helps you navigate these tests successfully.
Oh, totally. An abundance mindset lets you trust that if something isn't quite right, something even better is possible. It is on its way.
There was a great analogy in the material about jeans shopping.
Yes, I loved that one.
You try on a pair, they don't fit right. You don't freak out and buy them anyway thinking they're the last pair of jeans on earth, right?
No. You just put them back confidently, trusting there are plenty of other pairs, other styles, other sizes out there. You believe in the availability of jeans.
Exactly. And the idea is to bring that same energy, that same confident putting back approach to everything else.
Relationships, job offers, opportunities. If it doesn't genuinely light you up or align with your true desire.
Put it back. Trusting that you deserve the perfect fit. Knowing deep down you're worthy of the best.
Hmm. Now, another thing that can trip us up with these tests is impatience.
Oh, definitely. We want things now.
Totally. And that urgency can make us grab the first decent thing that comes along, even if it's not really it. We compromise, we settle.
There was another good analogy about redecorating a house.
Right. You have this vision, maybe for the perfect sofa, but it's custom. It takes 12 weeks to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy a good enough sofa that's in stock right now just to fill the space? Or do you wait patiently for the one that will truly make the room perfect?
It's a choice. And manifesting can be like that. Sometimes the really aligned stuff just takes a little time to come together. Patience is part of it.
For sure. And then there are the tests that feel like straight up challenges or even rejections.
Yeah, like a trip that's canceled, a business idea doesn't take off.
Unexpected bills, not getting into the university you wanted, maybe a romantic rejection.
Those can really sting. They can test your resolve, make you doubt everything.
They absolutely can. It's so easy to get discouraged. But the sources reframe these too.
As opportunities again.
Yes, as chances to build inner strength, to cultivate resilience, courage. It really boils down to how you choose to see it, how you choose to respond.
There was that quote, something about things falling apart.
Ah, yes, the anonymous one. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they're really falling into place.
That speaks to trusting the bigger picture, even when it looks messy up close.
Exactly. Trusting that even what seems like a setback might be part of a larger, ultimately beneficial plan.
Actually, we had a bit of this ourselves, didn't we, when we were first getting this deep dive off the ground?
Oh, right. We reached out to, well, a dream guest, a big-name celebrity.
And the answer was a polite but definite, not right now.
Yeah. And honestly, it could have been really discouraging. Like, oh no, maybe this isn't meant to be, especially so early on.
But we made a choice, didn't we?
We did. We decided not to let that one no stop the whole thing.
Yeah.
We kept going, reached out to others.
And ended up with amazing guests, which actually generated a lot of positive buzz for the show.
It really did.
Yeah.
It just shows initial rejections aren't always personal failures. They don't have to dictate the future.
Which connects right back to building that inner strength you mentioned, that fortitude.
Yeah, and that Helena Blavatsky quote fits perfectly here. Do not be afraid of your difficulties. Adversity, it becomes the stepping stone to a splendid opportunity.
So getting through these tests isn't just about getting the thing you want in the end.
Not at all. It's maybe even more about developing that deep inner knowing, that solid self-belief and confidence that carries you forward no matter what.
Like the story about the person who didn't get their dream job interview at first.
Yes, instead of getting crushed, they reframed it. Saw it as, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I improve?
And then they landed something even better later on because they kept that positive growth mindset.
Exactly. It's that shifting perspective again, realizing that sometimes, well, sometimes not getting what you think you want is actually brilliant redirection.
Maybe that canceled trip saved you from something or made space for something way better down the line.
Or that relationship ending, however painful, cleared the path for the right person. Or that failed plan pushed you towards your true calling.
You just don't always see it at the time.
Right. And underlying all of this, the ability to navigate these tests is the incredible power we have to choose.
Choice. That feels central.
It is. Our sources really highlight that our ability to choose consciously is maybe our most powerful manifesting tool.
What kinds of choices?
Well, we choose our visions, right? We choose our dominant thoughts. We choose who we spend time with, where we put our energy.
We choose what behavior we accept from others.
Exactly. What fears we decide to let go of. And crucially, we choose how we respond when these tests show up.
And those choices, moment by moment, they shape who we become.
And therefore, what we attract, what we manifest.
So the big takeaway for someone listening as they move forward trying to manifest things is to become more aware.
Yes, awareness is key. Start recognizing these potential tests when they appear. Try not to let them rattle you or drag your energy down.
See them differently.
Yeah, see them as chances to actually strengthen your manifesting power. Every time you stand up for yourself, say a confident no to something that's not quite right.
Stay strong when you face a rejection.
Trust the process even when it's confusing. You're actively demonstrating your self-worth. You're signaling your belief in abundance.
And there was that other great saying mentioned, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Love that one. It shifts everything, doesn't it? instead of seeing things as right or wrong, good or bad.
Just see it all as learning. Every situation, every test is a learning opportunity.
And when you approach life that way, a lot of the stress just melts away. You feel more ease, more flow.
Which interestingly raises your vibration.
Exactly. Which in turn makes you an even more powerful, more effortless manifester. It all cycles back.
So wrapping this up then, these tests from the universe, they're not roadblocks.
No, they're actually integral parts of the path.
Yeah.
Stepping stones, really,
Yeah.
offering huge potential for growth and getting you more aligned with what you really want.
So the keys are recognize them
Cultivate that awareness, yeah. Choose to operate from abundance, not fear.
and consistently make choices that reflect your true self-worth.
That's the heart of it.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on. Think about any challenges, any tests maybe that you're facing right now. What if you deliberately chose to reframe them? Not as problems, but as opportunities for some serious growth. Where might you be settling, even slightly? And what would a truly abundant, self-respecting response actually look like in that situation?
That shift in perspective. It could be the very thing that speeds everything up for you.
Something to think about. Thanks for exploring this with us today.